Hello and welcome to Plate Stack Chat with me, Jason, or Jason CF Media if you're looking for me on Instagram or other socials. And while you're in Instagram, why not look up our sponsor, Strivey.app, to see what they're up to and some of the great people that are using them too. But here each week, I bring on a fabulous guest for a chat. And this week, we have a rising star in the world of CrossFit. Now, while it definitely feels like I've heard more people talking about her over the last year or so, she is actually already has a long history with CrossFit, doing the first Open back in 2015 at just 14 years of age. Not only has she continued to do the Open at various stages of competition, she's actually made it to the CrossFit Games as a teen in 2018 and on a team in 2023. Now, we know there must be something in the water, or maybe it's the maple syrup, but Canada is producing some incredibly fit individuals, although maybe don't ask this one for advice on how to PR a lift, as she will just say, wear more pink. It is, of course, the wonderful Erica Folo.
Hello. That
Hello,
was a good
Erica.
intro. I liked that.
I tell all my guests, Erica, that is the most research I do for the show, or
I
like the
love
most
that.
work I do for the show
Yeah,
is writing an intro.
I like that.
Um,
Wear more pink. I agree with that 100%.
yeah. Well, you've got this reputation for. It's funny though. You've got this reputation for always wearing pink.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like you've got this reputation.
Yeah.
And then I was scrolling through your Instagram account.
Yeah.
Research. Not stalking, research.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Um,
I get
and
it.
I'm like, she's wearing black, she's wearing
Yeah.
blue. I was like, what's all
So
this?
it's a funny story. So, like, when I was a teenager at the gym, and this is like what so many members have asked me this too. I feel like when I was a teenager, I kind of just wore black, kept to myself. And then I feel like you're trying to figure yourself out through those ages. And then I feel like when university hit, I was just like, no, like I love pink and I've always liked pink. I always just stuck to more neutral colors at the gym. And then I was like, no, screw it. I'm just going to wear my favorite color all the time. And that's pink. So,
It's funny. My daughter's suddenly going for a phase of like,
yeah.
I don't like pink.
Oh,
Like I don't.
really?
Yeah. She's just and
Yeah.
she
So,
has loads of stuff that's pink because in
yeah.
the past she liked pink, and now
Yeah.
it's like suddenly this kind of no pink, no pink. I don't want this bag because it's pink. I don't want this
Yeah.
because it's pink. And we're like, half your stuff is pink, and it's really
Yeah.
hard even to find stuff because she's 5, so it's
Yeah.
still like little girl stuff, and so much of that is pink.
I want a little girl just so I can dress her up in all pink.
Well, I
I
can
feel like
lend
that
you
would be
mine
so fun.
if you want, but she's
I
going to
feel
kick
like
off.
that. Yeah, but I like feel like in high school, even in like majority high school, all black. Like that's how everyone knew me at the gym. I had black shoes. I never wore much color. And then I feel like just as I grew up and got like more comfortable in my own body, I was just like, no, like I'm embracing that I love pink and I'm just going to wear it. So that's
I
kind of
see.
how it all started.
That's interesting because I'm
Yeah.
a bit older than you, a fair bit older than you, I think, and
Yeah.
yet I'm still wearing a lot of black at the gym, a lot of dark colors,
Well, it
and
could be your favorite color. Like,
occasionally I get shoes from like events or people
yeah.
give me shoes, and then they're like, I've got like this bright yellow, like glow in the dark almost pair of like tier
Yeah.
trainers, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I can ever wear these.
Yeah.
They just
You should. You got to start incorporating like one bright thing, and then
yeah,
before you know it, you'll like it, and then you'll want other bright things, and then you'll be basically a highlighter in the gym.
exactly, yes. And it's convenient. Like tonight, I train at 8 p.m.
Hmm.
and at the moment in
That's
England, it's
crazy.
still pretty dark when I'm
Yeah.
walking to the Vic, so it's convenient to at least shine
Yeah.
a
To
little
be a
bit.
little bit so that people, can see you.
Yeah.
8 p.m. training at the gym. Is that normal, like for your schedule?
Yeah, that sort of came about by, uh, I mean, when I started CrossFit, my
Mm-hmm.
son would have been maybe 3 years old,
Okay.
3 years old,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then within that time, we also had my daughter as
Yeah.
well. So for a long period of time, it was kind of like, work, come back, dad mode, put the kids to bed, bedtime stories, things like that. Okay,
Gym.
now I can go.
Yeah.
And like I always made fun of people like that did because I do the like podcast for the affiliate as well.
Yeah.
And so I'd have different members on. And there was kind of this joke. I was like, "Oh, you're insane! Training at 6 a.m. I'd never do
Yeah.
that." But actually, the real reason was that I would start work at 7 a.m. So
Yeah.
even like the 6 a.m. class was not actually early enough anyway for me to
That's
then go to
crazy. Yeah.
work.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it just kind of felt like that. And then days that I don't work or I don't do my like normal work.
Mm-hmm.
I was training for quite a period. I would go in at either 9:30 or 10:30,
Okay.
which I quite liked,
Yeah.
but I just find my day's gone. It's
Yeah.
too much in the middle of the day, and then I'm like,
It's
oh no, the
true.
day's gone. Although, like contrary to almost everybody else, when the open swings round,
Yeah.
I used to love going in at 9:30 just to kind of get it done and out of
Yeah.
the
So you're
way.
not thinking about it all day.
And then I'd go back in for like, well, last year I went to a different box.
Yeah.
I would go in the morning to my affiliate, do the
Okay.
workout, and
Yeah.
then like I jumped on a plane and went up to Scotland and went to CrossFit Glasgow to like film Friday Night
Oh,
Lights
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
That's
it's
crazy.
fun. Corey is here. Sorry. Oi,
Hello, hello.
follow, and then stalking research. Yes, Corey, but
Of course.
that is my way. I was going to say
Mhm.
I hadn't planned any talk about that, but hey, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Training, great. This is what I told you. I don't. It's why
yeah.
I've been actively not listening to other things people have said to you. I don't want to
I
know.
like that.
I don't want to know. I feel like
Yeah.
you have exploded in popularity recently.
Mm.
Is that a fair kind of thought? I mean, maybe
I
not.
would
Maybe not exploded, but
I
had.
would say yeah, not like for me more like I feel like just a lot of people didn't know me more until
Yeah.
semifinals. And then I feel like after semifinals, like those first few events, people were kind of shocked of like my placings, me as well. Like I was also shocked. And then I think that the Hiller video that I did in November, people kind of just like liked it and enjoyed it. So I think my name's a little bit more out there, but I would say like still a lot lower than like most other like other semifinal kind of games athletes.
Oh, Corey's on fire today.
Oh,
I hope she doesn't explode. She seems cool. I'd hate to see her in pieces. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
I haven't watched the Hiller video
Wow. Yeah. That's nice.
again because
You wanted to know.
I want to talk to you, and
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to like already know the answers to
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I appreciate that.
I will watch it. I'm quite happy that now we've talked
Mhm.
because now I can watch it. And
Yeah, now
do you know,
you'll watch it and
you
be
will
like,
not
oh,
believe how much it pops up on my like YouTube feed of like,
I know.
you
It
should
kind
watch
of
this, you
like
should watch this, and I'm like, I know, I know
I
I should watch
will.
this.
I kind of was shocked, honestly, on how much it blew up as well. I still don't like, to me, I was like, oh my God, people watching 50 minutes of my life. That's crazy. And like, I did not think many people would engage with it or like it. But it seemed, wow, it's really snowing. Sorry, distracted. It seemed like people really liked it. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy to
Yeah.
me. But
It feels like, obviously, I mean, Hiller is a controversial figure within CrossFit.
yeah.
But it does seem like you're always going to have some people that are like, no, it's Hiller. I just refuse. I'll
Yeah.
hate it on principle. But generally, even people that maybe don't like some of the stuff he does, when he does the long form following an athlete, there's been a number of them, including yourself.
Yeah.
People do seem to really enjoy that. They really like that. And so
Yeah.
you kind of it has to really be people that just like, I just don't like him but on principle, and therefore I won't watch it.
Yeah.
Whereas other
Yeah.
people, you'll find they'll be like, I don't like when he calls out athletes on this, or I don't like that he bullies people in this way or something, whatever their reasoning is. But even they'll be like, but that one he did on that athlete was pretty good, and it was quite nice
like
to learn about them.
his media is impressive. And like I remember when he reached out, I told him this in person. I was like, I was so scared of you. Like I was thinking this guy was gonna come to Canada and just make fun of me or something. Like he had some type of bone to pick or something, because that's like I told him straight out when I like met with him, like I had not watched many of his videos, but I had just seen those like reels of like him making fun of like or digging into certain athletes, and I was like, oh my God, that's what he's gonna do to me. And he ended up being super nice, like very personable, easy to chat with, and like truly like very good at like filming content. Like it never felt like I was on camera, which I think is like truly what you want when it comes to like longer videos than the lifestyle videos, because you truly get like what the person does and acts like in a day.
Yeah, it doesn't feel scripted. It's not
it feels
okay, we're
very
going to turn the
natural.
camera on. Okay, actually, can you say that again, Erica? I just like to get it from another.
He literally just filmed everything. And I remember after I think the first day, he's like, wow, I already filled up an SD card. And I was like, do you not normally do that? And he's like, well, not really. And I'm like, I know I'm a talker. So
That's good. That's good for this.
yeah.
That's convenient for a show like this. Let's just see a few other things. What's Craig saying here? Erica is very cool.
Nice.
Good.
Thank you.
Hilla did a great job, and Erica was herself and made it work. There you go. That's just what you were saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't know of you until
Yeah.
semifinals,
Yeah.
and so I started doing a thing last year at semifinals that I'd never done. Oh, sorry, she also says that she loves the Hilla
Awesome.
video. There you go. I was like picking athletes in the lead up to the different semifinals,
Okay.
just to be kind of like, oh, here's 5 athletes that I'm
Yeah.
watching for like kind of unique reasons. And it
Mhm.
wasn't like, oh, these are 5 athletes that I think are going to win or anything
Yeah.
like that. It was like, for one, it was like, this is it was like the Far East Throwdown, and I was like, hey, this athlete, she's a Filipina, and she's the first individual athlete like Filipina to make it to this stage of competition.
Yeah.
My wife's from the Philippines, so that's interesting for us.
Yeah.
Like we watch it for that reason. There was reasons like that. It was just kind
Yeah.
of
Like more
unique little
personal,
things.
like personal reasons. Yeah.
And I did these posts for like each of that. So it was actually like 5 across the 2
Okay.
semifinals that were happening that weekend, kind of thing. Now I didn't pick you out of the list because when I went through the list and there were people I was picking, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this one. But I made a separate post
That's amazing.
on day 2
Yeah.
of like, can we talk about Erica Folo? Like,
Yeah.
who is this person? I don't know who. Like, I never heard of her before.
Yeah.
She, and that's maybe on me, but I'm not as like
No,
statty
like
as other
truly, like
people.
because it was my first ever individual elite competition was semifinals that year.
Yeah,
Like
and
in
then I felt really bad, and I actually looked up the post earlier today, and it was like, oh, can she
yeah.
like
Can
she's
make it?
sitting in, I can't remember what
Yeah.
position you were in on day 2, but I was
I
like,
feel like a lot of
can
people
she
were
hold
asking the
on?
same
And then it
question.
was like,
Yeah.
oh no,
And I
sorry.
was thinking that too. Like, to be honest, like my first ever individual elite competition, after the first day, I was like, of course, it was just one event and it went great. And I was like, wow, like this feels nice. Like, especially that first event, I felt so comfortable. And this is what I've kind of been trying to talk to. This is a side topic, but when looking for coaches, like I was trying to explain to them that state that I felt in like the first semifinal event. And I feel like the second event, it's like that flow state where like you're just in it and you're just like doing the work, but like it feels hard, but it doesn't feel that hard because you're just like so in the zone. And I feel like in those moments, like everything stacks up perfectly and you can just truly do what you love to do, which is CrossFit and the sport. And I just remember I could not stop smiling during that first event because I was like, wow, like I'm executing and I'm executing like to my abilities, and my abilities is to hang with the top in that event. And I was like, this is crazy. Like because I did not truly like and I still have the confidence issues of like not thinking that you're like able to compete with the top. So I feel like that first event was like I was shocked.
Yeah, because I think that was it. It wasn't. I like I now. I mean, it was a while ago, but now
Mm-hmm.
I can't like pinpoint like a specific like, oh, it was this thing or that thing. But
Yeah.
I just remember like being almost in awe of
Yeah.
like how is it, and not because like, oh, you was like some insane athlete that was
Mm-hmm.
just like running circles around everyone, but
Yeah.
it was much more that combination factor of like, I don't know this, and I know a lot of athletes. Like I know a
Yeah.
lot of athletes that aren't the athletes that are making it to the games, and that I've
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
followed over various semifinals or other
Mm-hmm.
things that they've done. I was like, I don't know this person, and
Yeah.
yet she's absolutely smashing it.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Like you had like a, you seemed happy and you were like enjoying it, and it's
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing like I look for as well.
Yeah.
Is just like I've had this conversation with people, maybe even just the other week we were talking about this. Like I'm not like a stats guy, so
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh well, I know they had a third place finish at this
Yeah.
competition, and then I know they did this, and I know. I'm so much more like vibes and
Yeah.
kind of, oh, I don't know, there's just something about this one that I like, and it's
Yeah.
usually
Like
really
energy
silly things,
too. Yeah.
but and I remember in that post that I was like, she's really good. She's And so then I, of course, I looked you up and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Erica Folo CrossFit, that's it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, she's been to the games as a teen. She's
Yeah.
been to the games on a team.
Yeah.
And in that post I put out, I was like, okay, who is Erica? Like, she's
Yeah.
doing amazing at semifinals.
Yeah.
She's been to the games
Yeah.
in the past, and yet I don't know who she is, but she's
Yeah.
been there twice, as a teen and on a team.
Yeah.
And she had, do you know how many followers you had at that time?
Oh, I think I maybe had 2,000 or 3,000 maybe.
Yeah, you had like 3,300, something like that. Actually, I
Yeah,
wrote down
I was very
3,302 when I
yeah.
posted, because I screenshot a thing and I shared it,
Oh,
and I was
that's
like,
amazing. I want you to send that to me. I totally, because I was curious pre-semifinal, like what I had, because I had no idea.
yeah. So you had I'll tag you in the post again.
Yeah, that'd be
Probably
huge.
tagged it, but and I was like, why is no one following this person? Like, she's got
Yeah.
so few. Now you've added 10,000 people on top of that, so that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I've added a few, and which feels crazy to be honest, because I never thought that would happen. Still, like, again, in the smaller realm, but like I'm happy, like to share. And I find like I just like the ability to share like stuff that isn't talked about. I feel like a lot on my platform, which I think is huge too.
Okay, put a pin in that. I want to ask you about that.
Yeah,
Because I mean, we even took, like, you've put some posts up recently, and all I've commented is like, yeah, we'll talk about this.
yeah.
We'll talk about this on the show. What else did I want to ask you though before that? I guess just linked on this thing then, how have things changed for you over then the course of, like, between semifinals then,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now, kind of this little upsurge in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I, okay. It sounds, because the Instagram followers thing
Yeah,
sounds super vain, right? It's
yeah,
like, oh, how many followers you got on Instagram? But currently, in the current climate for CrossFit athletes and
yeah,
functional fitness athletes, or whatever they're calling themselves or doing, there is this balancing act between being an athlete
yeah,
and being an influencer, and
yeah. It's
being
crazy.
able to sell to sponsors, and being able to
Yeah.
kind of, that's the way you've got to fund your journey almost.
Mm-hmm.
So adding 10,000 followers isn't just oh, look how popular I am. It is like,
Yeah,
that is numbers and data that I can share with companies that can potentially pay
yeah,
me some money to help me with my training and with my travel, and and
yeah.
everything that I'm doing. So I'm kind of curious if that has had a relatively big impact on you between then and now.
Yeah, I would say honestly no, which
Brilliant.
which which kind of shows you, like, to be honest, like how much the numbers play a part, because like when it comes down to it, like a sponsor, in my eyes, like if it's between someone with 50,000 followers and 13,000, like they're going to pick the one with more with more like eyes, and like 50,000 you have more eyes on the content. So like for me, like not much has changed. Like I'm still like posting what I would have if I had 3,000. I'm just grateful that there's more eyes on me now, like to see those things, especially like important messages.
Yeah.
um but not much has changed. Like I still have like more local sponsors, which I do appreciate a lot. Like my supplement sponsor is like it's Herc's Nutrition, and it's only in Canada.
Yeah, but you see,
Very,
that's great though, because
I
I've
love
seen
it.
you do, like, you've
Yeah,
gone to the store, you've gone around,
yeah,
you've done a
it's
shop, they
very
know who you are.
personable. Yeah,
And that's where, like, these brands,
yeah,
it's annoying, because you're absolutely right that they're like,
yeah,
well, she's got 10,000 and she's got
it's true.
50,000, so we'll pick the
Yeah,
one with 50,000. And you're like, yeah,
yeah,
but look what they're posting.
yeah,
Like, who's following them? Who are
yeah,
these 50,000 people?
yeah,
Because like 40,000 of them have never heard of CrossFit. They're just following them because they like the way they look.
yeah,
They're not engaging in the post. They're not going to be like, oh, I might actually try that supplement, or I might,
yeah.
use that code that they give. Like,
It's a huge thing. Yeah. So
whereas I
both of
feel
my
like
yeah.
you saying you're still posting the same stuff you were posting when you had 3,000 followers
Mm-hmm.
is good, because it means that, like, that's what interests the 10,000.
Yeah. I'm just
It's,
trying to do it more frequently because I sucked at posting before. So
yeah.
I've been trying to be a bit more frequent, which is hard, but also I find it a little bit like I kind of find it fun, like to be honest. It's kind of like a side gig, and it's interesting. Like, oh, what am I gonna plan to post this week? Or like, oh, this training session looks cool. Filming it would be fun. But yeah, like my two main sponsors right now, which are like the main two I have. One is a Canadian company called SRX Products. They're great. I've been using their products before I was ever sponsored by them. I just use their product. And then Herx, which is the nutrition company that I work with. And they sponsored me like before semis, like way before. Like they were just helping me out because I had been going to their store since I was 14. Like, yeah.
Okay. Oh, we've got someone from Vancouver in.
Oh, nice.
That's Sarah. YOLO follow. Sarah, I
Yeah.
didn't know you were from Vancouver. You've commented in the past. This has never come up. I
There
don't
we
think.
go.
Anyway, Corey's had some interesting comment. He's still on fire. So I love following athletes who might not be the biggest thing going at the time, but who are genuinely interesting and have a great story. There we go.
Awesome.
And then talking about, I call it the Brooke Wells effect. Was funny product. Well, that's like Corey said it, not me. Just on that one. Okay, yeah. I was just curious because I do think it's an interesting line to walk.
I would say not much, to be honest, has changed for me anyway since then. Like, I work with an agent now, which is amazing. Like, she's awesome. She's helped me out a lot, Lucille. And honestly, she just gives me great knowledge in the sport, knowledge that I had no idea before. Like, yeah. And like it gives more access to like meeting other athletes because she has athletes, you know, that she works with. And like, this is all like in the management company. These are all the athletes that are there. So it kind of helps you meet new people, which is amazing.
Yeah. And you have just reminded me that I am supposed to email Lucille.
Yeah.
She told me I was meant to have sent her an email and I forgot. So
yeah,
that's a good reminder for me. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. Can you say her surname well? Do you know, I'm wondering because you're in Canada and obviously there's a lot of French names floating around in Canada. I don't even know
her last name. What is it?
Felozant.
Oh yeah, I definitely couldn't say that. I just say Lucille. I didn't even know she had. Wait, what? Does she have? Oh,
Does she have a last name? I'm pretty sure she has a last name.
No, I didn't know she had it on her Instagram. Yeah, there's no way I could say that.
Yeah.
I just say Lucille.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, Lucille is wonderful. We love Lucille on this show. She's been on the show.
She has?
Yeah, she came on with YOLO.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. Erica seems to be standing on business, has some sponsors, but is still being herself. There we go. Yes. A lot of love for you in the comments, Erica. That must feel good. Let me know what that feels like. Okay. There's another thing I have to ask you about.
Yeah.
Before we then go on to like the vulnerability in the posts on Instagram and all of that, which is wonderful. Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Because I know again, and as I have been avoiding things, I don't even know how I know some things, but I know there was some link, like you were. There was the possibility. I think it was actually mentioned on the stream during semifinals potentially.
I feel probably like not semifinals, maybe Waterpalooza. Because I
didn't watch Waterpalooza. So.
Okay, that's good because there wasn't much impressive for me there. Okay, then I don't know where you got that, but yeah, I did.
Yeah. So what's the story there? Because obviously, I don't know if you know I do know because I saw you post that you were watching the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my friends are a huge fan.
Obviously now.
Yeah.
Sarah Cooper says it was on Spin. I didn't watch that either, Sarah.
Oh, there we go.
I've been avoiding everything really. I've been like avoiding spoilers.
I like
that for a lot of CrossFit stuff. I try to come at things with like a balanced approach. So I can't like kind of until I start digging into a topic, and then I have to start watching everything anyone has said about it.
Yeah.
So I have all the kind of things, but when it's people, I'd rather form my own
opinions.
Sort of thing.
I see that. I totally agree with that.
So I know you were watching that, and obviously, like Netflix has now bought. Or they've got the deal with Netflix, so
it's huge.
I know in America people are like, oh, we get this and that. In the UK, like every time I turn on Netflix now, there is another thing that is like, because all the wrestling stuff is on Netflix, like every single thing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, well, the only thing that could make this better is if Erica Folo was there.
Right?
Coming in at
Imagine me
number
being
27 at the Royal Rumble. Then we just have your
Imagine me
music
being
hit,
on
and then
Netflix. Like that would be amazing.
I was
Yeah, I
actually
know.
thinking to mention it to Colton when he was on last week, and we were talking about Seth Rollins
Yeah.
and obviously the open announcement.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you imagine if
Like
Colton had come in at the Royal Rumble just
literally.
out
Like
of nowhere? But who's
it's
this guy?
just it's
The
insane.
Iron Hog comes in, throws someone out over the top rope, and then
Yeah.
oh,
Do you watch wrestling at all?
I mean, like years ago,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
feel like that's
in
the
like
case
the
for a lot
Attitude
of
Era
people.
when I was,
I think that's a case for a lot of people. Like a lot of like my friends said, "Oh yeah, I used to watch that when I was a kid." Like no one really keeps up with it as much as now.
well, I don't know. Now that it's on Netflix, it's
Now that it's on Netflix, it's huge. Like I think that was a huge turning like page for the WWE for sure.
yeah.
But yeah,
But you're
I
not
got
there.
asked.
Why are you not there? What happened?
So I got
Was it like a
asked to.
series? Like I'm kind of curious.
Oh, it
Was it
was.
a sort of I had this idea, or was it actually?
Oh no, I probably still have the DM. Like they reached out to me to do a tryout for them in probably around this time last year because the tryout was in around quarterfinals time, so probably April-ish, I think it was. Yeah, they reached out to me on Instagram and I thought it was a joke, and then I had a meeting with a guy and he was like, no, like this is serious, like we'll pay for you to come down to Philadelphia right before WrestleMania. There's going to be an X amount of athletes and we're going to run you through like a tryout, and if we think you're a good prospect for the WWE, we'll offer you an NXT contract by the end of the weekend. And I was like, wow. And at this point I was like, you know what, like that's kind of how I'm living right now, is like if an opportunity arises, like sure. So I went down to Philadelphia, did the whole tryout. We had like performance testing and then media. So like the performance testing, it had like a throw, and then you had some jumping, like a vertical and a broad jump, and then the in-ring stuff was like a bunch of rolling and like off the ropes and stuff, and I was exhausted by the end, to be honest. And then there was a media portion as well, so you kind of had to put a character on, which is, this is where everyone's getting the Pink Powerhouse nickname from, because that's what I called myself going into the tryout, is I called myself the Pink Powerhouse as like my media name.
Yeah. Did you?
So
So you picked that?
yeah.
Or just came in and were like, oh, the Pink Powerhouse. Okay.
Yeah, because like everyone had to create a name.
Yeah.
To like, and then go into your character. So I did it all, and
Sorry,
they
hold
called
on.
me
I've
back.
got to ask, what was the character of the Pink Powerhouse?
Oh, I didn't. That was the problem. Is like I didn't really have. So the people, like, I didn't really have a persona with it, which is I think what they wanted you to have, like some
Right.
kind of like. I just tried to act cool and like fun. I don't think it went well, but it was fun. It was a cool experience. It was really, really hard. Like a lot harder than I thought. Like I give it to the WWE superstars and like the NXT. Like it is physically really demanding. Way more demanding than I thought. But yeah, they called me back and they said that they wanted me to do some type of like media work and then do another tryout. And I was like, I think I'm gonna stick with CrossFit, and I kind of just stuck with CrossFit after. It was just, it was a lot. It was really hard.
I mean, the fact that like this will upset people. We were going, I'll stick with CrossFit. It seems easier. Like
it was just like the media side of things, like putting on the character, and that kind of thing. Like it's hard. It's hard to have kind of like a different persona in a way. And I think some people can really like channel that. I can't. Like I'm very open book. This is me. This is what you're getting. Like, so it was kind of hard for me to like channel another like persona in a way, to like be this other person. So I was like, oh, I'm good with where I'm at.
Do you feel it's like I don't know, how do I even say this? Do you feel like the wrestling style, like the WWE style,
Yeah,
is starting to come into CrossFit more? I feel like when you see like Colton and Hopper and Pepper and
yeah.
all of these, it almost feels like there are these kind of
like little
they're calling
battles,
each other out, like, it's
like
like
in a
they're in the
funny
middle of
way,
the ring. It's like
like
they're,
banter. Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah, I could see that, like more of like kind of like creating entertainment outside of the sport, like something for them to like look forward to, like, oh, we're gonna throw down together in a workout,
yeah.
stuff like that. I could see that from that perspective. Yeah.
Because it's like, spoilers for anyone listening to this, but wrestling is scripted. So
Yeah.
it's like there is
Entertain.
no reason for you to watch it
Yeah.
unless you're invested in the characters. Like that's
100%.
that's the only reason, right?
Yeah.
And I feel with CrossFit events,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same, right? Unless I care
Oh yeah.
about the athletes.
Yeah. Why are you watching? Like in a sense, like why are you
Yeah.
watching it?
Yeah, like
I
why,
agree.
I mean, why am I watching it over, oh, I'll just go to this local showdown where I
Yeah.
actually know half the people.
Yeah, like
Uh,
my four
yeah.
friends are competing in that event. I see what you mean there.
Yeah. Can Erica give us a Ric Flair? Woo?
Oh no.
No,
Oh god, no.
no. I think it will like the software will like cut it out. It's like, oh, she's peeking. There's been a lot of there's been quite a bit of wrestling chat going
Yeah,
on.
I like that. I
Hogan, Ric
appreciate that.
Flair, Randy Savage. There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I met some of them in the tryout. I got to meet a few superstars. They came to watch some of the tryout, which was very cool. But yeah, I do agree with you. Like I remember I think it was at the games last when I went with the team, and I was just sitting in the arena watching the final event of the indie females, the year that Emma came second, because I remember us watching it. And like they all started on the echo bike, and I was just laughing because I'm like sitting in my head like in the stadium, and I'm like, wow, like this is a stadium full of people just watching girls battle it out on like an air bike. Like
Yeah.
it just like hits you at some points where you're like, this sport is so large, and but like we're literally watching people exercise at the end of the day. I think that's what makes me laugh at some points too, because you
Yeah.
kind of forget.
Which comes back to like the character. If you've got
Yeah.
people that are like, oh, this is going to be, an echo bike workout. I'm the king of the echo bike. Like, look at
Yeah,
you.
like
You've
you
got no
create
chance to go
narrative
get me.
around it.
Now I'm watching because I'm like,
Is
oh,
he
I mean,
gonna crush
he's,
the echo bike?
yeah.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, like, what's
Yeah,
he going to say afterwards?
exactly. Like how is he gonna come back from that? I agree. But yeah,
So,
it's funny that way.
yeah, fast exercise. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Unless, it's not always fast. Some of us like
No, yeah.
moderately paced exercise. Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, wrestling sadly is scripted. But like I know that this like I know the ending is planned, but like
Yeah.
what they do in between is kind of up to their choice, which I find is super interesting and would be really hard.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
planning that out and making it look real too.
Yeah, and being able to like adjust to stuff that happens in that. Like there's like
Oh, yeah.
choreography. There's like a whole language of like
It's like a
things they can
dance.
say to
Yeah.
each other to like, oh, I've hurt, like actually I've really hurt myself here, so please can we change to the other side or something like, there's
Yeah,
all this
for
kind of stuff
sure.
they can do on the fly in the ring. It's very, and I mean whether you think it's stupid or not, like athletically it's
Oh,
insane. Like
it
it,
is. It really
and-
is. Like my body
which
eat after.
I think is the thing, isn't it? Is like if we're doing CrossFit, if
Mhm.
we're watching that, we are drawn to like this fascination of what the human body can accomplish.
Yeah,
It's like that's
for sure.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, just say his name, Jason Hopper. I said Hopper earlier. I said Colton Hopper Pepper. Like
Yeah.
I've put the names out there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'll say Jason Hopper. Yeah. That's fine. It's like, will Annika fall 1 point short yet again? Yeah.
Yeah. I hope not.
Oh, well, I hope not. But
Yeah,
depending
but
on
true.
how it's going, and if it's 1 point between you and Annika,
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, yeah.
yeah, then we've got to like, push the Folo train over the line. We can't.
Yeah.
No sentiment. Do you have a killer instinct when you're on the field?
So this is funny
Yeah.
talking about this because I feel like at Waterpalooza I didn't have that killer instinct, to be honest.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out
how to get it.
I'm pretty sure I know why. And it's because it's semifinals. I had that killer instinct, and event 6 happened, and I blew up, and everything happened. And I've learned a lot from it, but there's a little bit of hesitancy at Waterpalooza. And I've kind of been able to kind of target that. And, you know, now I'm kind of working back to figuring out and channeling that competitive edge, because I've always been a competitive athlete ever since I was a kid. Very selfish when it came to team sports, because I was like, I want to win. So I'm
Right.
taking charge and taking full responsibility to make sure we do win.
What did
I've
you play?
always had that. Well, when I was young, I did soccer, volley, like I did all the things like in high school and stuff. And then when I started kind of maturing a little bit, I went to individual sports. So I stuck with track for a long time, because I just knew I'm fully
Right.
in control of my results if it's just me. So I went with track for a while and then started CrossFit. So
Yeah.
team sports when I was super young, and then kind of transitioned to more individual style sports. I actually was really into field hockey in high school, which was funny, because I never thought I would get into that, but it was a weird kind of side hobby, to be honest.
Side hobby. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like it was a
like,
weird, like something I never thought I could do, and then I actually really enjoyed it, and I was shocked, because at that time I was very much just track, because I liked the individual aspect of it. But for some reason, like field hockey in high
right.
school
Yeah.
was quite fun. Yeah.
Of course. I was thinking, I don't know why that's so shocking. I mean, Canada, famously a hockey kind of centric place.
Yeah.
Field hockey less so. You hear about it
Yeah.
less than ice hockey, but I forgot that you are so
Yeah.
competitive that
Yeah.
your
I was
your
more
teammates are not good
focused.
enough.
Yeah. Individual, like, because I know that it's like all on me, which I
And
appreciate.
yet, Erica, you went
Yeah.
to the games on a team.
I know. That was kind of because when I got asked to do the team, I was quite out of shape, in my opinion, for myself.
Right.
Because I was 2 years or 3 years into university. And when I was in university, I wasn't doing CrossFit that much, to be honest. And they asked me to do a team, and I was like, oh, well, maybe this would be a good way for me to get back into CrossFit, like a little bit more motivated to get back into the gym. So in 2022, that's kind of when I started doing CrossFit again. Um,
Yeah. So
and
let me
then,
just address the audience. So
yeah.
if you're thinking, I've never made it to the games, even on a team, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And Erica used going to the games as I'm feeling a bit out of shape. This will
Well,
probably get me back into good shape if I just go to the games this year on a
I
team.
would say so. We tried in 2022 and failed. So it took
Right.
us over a year. And it also took me a while to get back into shape, very much so, because when they first approached me, I was easily the worst on the team, very much so, and that ate at me. Like I don't do well when I know I'm like dragging somebody down. So I made like an effort to actively get better into the gym, and I think again that's really what motivated me to get competitive. 2022 we didn't make it to the games, and then 2023 we did. And then 2024 obviously was my first year as an indie.
Yeah. And close, and so close. So
I
if we're
know,
following
I know.
the same, it just takes a year for you to just kind of
Yeah, it's a
polish everything
little
off.
bit more.
Then I guess this.
Yeah, indie is a totally different ball game, mentally, physically, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh,
mentally
well,
more.
in fact, on that, say the thing you said to me just before we went live, and I said,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
let's get that on the show."
Yeah,
So,
I honestly
um,
all the time forget
what do you
that I went
forget?
to the games,
You
because
forget
like
that you went to the games.
more just because like I always think of like I feel like everyone does, or maybe not, but like to me like a games athlete is like indie games, if that makes sense, because I feel like CrossFit as a whole always kind of centers around like the women and men from 18, what is it, 18 to 34, like that is always like the main stage. So to me like team and like the and teen just never seemed as like legit at the time in my brain, which literally doesn't make sense because it's the same qualifying process. So that's just a me problem for sure. Yeah, it's a me problem.
Yeah, just people like infuriated at but look, I've put it in my Instagram bio. It says I'm
Yeah,
a CrossFit Games athlete because I went
but
as a
I
teen or I
feel
went
like
on a team, and you're like, well, it doesn't
honestly
really count.
making it like not making it 2022 for us, like we were pretty hurt. Like, we worked really hard to get to the games in 2023. Like, I'm not discrediting by any means people who've made it as a teen or a team. It's just as hard. I just think very different mentalities from team to individual. It's a big shift because it's all on you.
Oh, man, I can't wait for like a year or two and you've been to the games as an individual and
Yeah.
then you're having a conversation with someone like, you know what, it's you go to a box, you visit a box,
Yeah.
and they're like saying, oh, this is Erica, do you know Erica, she's a games athlete, and then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, they're a games athlete as well, and you're like,
Yeah.
are you? And I said, oh yeah, I went to the games on a team. And you're like, on a team, right? Yeah. So
Oh, I feel
that'll be good. Okay. Oh, we've got some important questions coming on. So hold on.
Oh.
Now there's a very important one about coaching, but let's skip that for a second because Kevin has asked a vital question here.
Okay.
Says, I need, in capitals, Erica to answer this question. My girlfriend loves that yellow top from Waterpalooza. Where is that from? I want to get it for her birthday.
Is it the long sleeve one? Can he confirm long
Kevin,
sleeve?
we need, follow-up question. Is it long sleeve? We'll come back to it. We will.
If it's the long sleeve tight
Okay.
one and it's cropped, I think he knows which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's from Fleo.
Like long sleeve crop top.
It is from Fleo. It is.
Do you know, like, that? Has it got like a specific
Let me
like
check.
Design name?
Let's find out. So you can get it for your girlfriend. I appreciate that.
In the meantime, Corey is saying just the fact that it only took a year for her to get back into game shape is absolutely bananas. I know. Well, Corey, not really game shape.
Yeah.
Games team shape.
No.
Which we've heard is a different shape.
To get into game shape because we didn't make it the first time.
This show covers all the CrossFit topics. Yeah, like, hey, I guarantee half of the reason people go, okay, we've got it. No, we haven't.
Okay, I think it is called the Foundation Crop long sleeve.
Okay, hopefully you've got that, Kevin. Foundation, did you say?
Yeah,
Foundation crop long sleeve.
And they have it. Oh, I don't. Let's see if they have it in the yellow. I don't know if they have it in the yellow anymore.
Okay. They might not have it in the yellow cover, but surely they've got other beautiful colors.
But they have bright pink.
So why didn't you have the bright pink one, Erica? That's your...
I know. It's because I love Fleo, but their stuff is pricey. So I am grateful for what I have, but...
Right.
And the yellow was fun. I did enjoy that outfit at Waterpalooza, but it was not pink. And I kind of wish I wasn't wearing a long sleeve and sweatpants in Miami. But again, that's a fight I'll never win because it was cold. So
yeah. She loves that one too. When she wears all black and her pink shoes, I say she looks like Erica.
Yeah, there you go.
See, you're already, you're a trendsetter already, Erica. That's right.
I love that.
Corey says we cover all topics: training, comps, fashion, you name it. Talking 100%. Of training camps, we had another question that was a good one here.
Yeah.
Didn't you lose your coach, Emma Lawson's coach?
Yeah.
Do you have a new coach or follow a program like Training Think Tank or Proven?
That's a
Erica,
good question.
did you lose your coach?
I did. So
how did you lose them? You don't know where they are, or
missing? No.
Yeah. It started snowing in Canada. I turned around. He was gone. Oh no.
He's gone. Got lost in the snow. No. So for the past, it's kind of weird though, because 2024 season, I followed Mammoth, but I followed the Mammoth general track. So kind of like a Proven, you sign up, everyone does it. So I followed the Mammoth general track 2024 season. And then Josh did not program for me personally. I had somebody from my gym just kind of come to semifinals and help me kind of get through the competition, essentially. So I didn't really have
semifinals where you absolutely crushed a number of the workouts. You were in like this flow state where you just kind of were enjoying.
I was really YOLO following at that moment. Like I was truly like, so he helped me with a little bit of like program tweaking when I needed it, when I kind of needed guidance from a coach. And then he came to semifinals with me. And then started this season. Josh was like, hey, I would love to program for you individually starting this season, but you still need a new coach. So for
Right.
Waterpalooza, I had another guy. His name is Sean Clark. He was one of my teammates. He kind of helped me on the sidelines at Waterpalooza in terms of just like warm up, general stuff, that kind of thing, but did not program for me. Josh was programming for me. But as of December, Mammoth shut down. So he made it apparent like I can program for you up until January, like Waterpalooza, and then after that you kind of have to find somebody else. So for the past 2 weeks, it's been a lot of meetings, to be honest, of like talking to other people, just getting an idea of like what coaches or training camps are in the space, because I don't really know much about many. Kind of talking to different coaches, seeing their different like methods of coaching and that kind of thing. I think we are pretty secure on a coach. We're not like discussing it or like disclosing it yet, but I'm pretty sure kind of the ball is rolling. Like I'm getting my finally footing back, which is exciting because I hate being in the lull of like not having a coach and like a program. I'm very much like I like a routine of some sort. So yeah, we're getting the things going, but yeah, I'm not with I'm not with Josh anymore, which was Mammoth.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Um,
It's pretty chaotic post
yeah.
Waterpalooza. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, let's
I
figure
mean,
out what I'm doing with my coach, the season, and literally everything.
yeah. As the season is like kicking off as well, so it'd be
I
nice to.
know, which doesn't help because I haven't been doing like I'm not saying I haven't been doing much at the gym. I've still been going there for a few hours a day, but like doesn't seem as effective when you don't have like a program set out in place.
Oh, it would be so cool if you could get one of the guys that you'd met at NXT to like
Yeah,
come on board and be like, okay, and this is my coach,
that would be
WWE Hall of
great.
Famer, Shawn Michaels. He's here to. He's like,
He's here to help me coach. He's here to coach me.
yeah.
That
Oh.
would be funny.
Yeah, you are Corey is slightly biased here, but you should check out Emon Coach.
Oh,
Brandon Luck is
okay.
programming. Yeah,
I like
yeah. I've done some of those workouts that he programmed that were
nasty.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can get the Hiller fit.
Ah, yeah. That's funny.
That's fun.
Hiller's dope. And he's
Yeah,
smart. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. He's
yeah.
smart. Like he knows his stuff in the CrossFit space. Um, yeah, it's definitely a good idea, like an interesting idea for sure.
Well, definitely get your noticed on the field. People will
Yeah.
be something to talk about. That's for sure. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Speaking about talking things, so you've mentioned Waterpalooza,
Yep.
and you said that kind of for you, Waterpalooza was a lot of that was just getting back on the competition floor, like
Yeah.
just kind of getting your I guess your competition legs back.
Yeah.
I know you weren't super happy with like performance wise, as you were saying, and also kind of coverage of you, and like it wasn't. I guess it wasn't as like phenomenal
Yeah.
as semifinals. What we were talking about,
Yeah.
like kind of these some
The
home run workouts
crazy
that you had there.
performances. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but like, was that mission accomplished anyway? Just
Yeah. So there
getting
was
back
kind
on the
of a
big
few
stage.
different my goal at the end of the day going into Waterpalooza was just to get there and complete the weekend. And I did
Mhm.
that. So I'm proud of myself for that. Because truthfully, did I ever think I would step on a competition floor after how semis ended? In my eyes, no. Like
Really?
when I finished semis, I was very much like, I don't think I can compete again. Like I was so devastated with how things ended and panned out for me because I remember writing out my biggest fear in competition before semifinals was to go out to like basically burn out and not be able to finish the workout and be the only person on the field. And that's literally what happened. Like that was exactly what
Hey, they were
happened.
some big dumbbells. That's
They
the
were, but that's no excuse. Like
no.
I got no reps and then I couldn't hold on. Like that's what
Yeah.
happened. And I truthfully didn't think I would ever get back on the floor because I was so sad and like there was a part of me that was like a bit like, oh my God, like there's no way this happened and this actually panned out the way it did.
Yeah.
Um,
And I wake up now and it's day
yeah,
3 of competition, and that was
exactly.
such a vivid nightmare.
Exactly. And like I remember like picking up the dumbbells and looking at the finish line and I was like, "Oh my god, I've literally punched my ticket to the games." And then literally 50 feet or however much into the lunge, it did a 360 real quick. So yeah, proud of myself for getting back out on the floor. Did I have expectations for myself without setting them just in my head, without saying them out
Yes,
loud?
because you're the most competitive person we've ever
Yes.
spoken to.
Like, yeah, I'm very competitive that way. And I think I wanted the weekend to go better than it did. And it didn't go exactly as planned. And it happens. There was a lot of like different things in certain events that happen that are just mistakes you can't really come back from. Like in
Yeah.
terms of like the dumbbells and just again, my killer instinct in those events was like I felt there was a like more of like a barrier for me in terms of like I was holding back a little bit in each event, kind of like reserving in a way.
Do you think though partly that is because I mean we talk a lot about like and like this has been one of the problems with a lot of online stuff, like and there's like you've got these people that they absolutely destroy online qualifiers, but
Yeah,
they've done so few in-person competitions, and and it's like,
me.
yeah, it's one thing when you're in your gym and you can put
Yep,
your weights where you want
I
them and you've got
agree.
everything set up, and obviously you know the emotions that you had coming out of semi-finals,
Yeah.
going like it's kind of hard to imagine that you could go from I don't think I'm ever going to step on the competition floor again
Yeah.
to like that killer instinct flow state,
Yes.
the next like like that feels like too big a jump to
Yes.
do in
And I
one
just and I
go.
truthfully like have learned now, like again, after digesting what's happened and just like sitting with how I feel the weekend went, I just need more experience on the floor.
Yeah,
Waterpalooza was my second ever elite individual competition in person. And I just need more. I need to stop learning the things that athletes either already know or have just gained from experience on the fly, if that makes sense. Like I'm
yeah.
learning all these like little things on the floor in that moment, but like at that point that's too late. Like you need to
Yeah.
already know how to do that,
Oh, I
if
mean,
that
it
makes
almost sounds like you need like Brent Fikowski as your coach.
yeah,
Do you know what
just
I mean?
like
You're someone like so analytical that
with
you'll be like,
so much intelligence
and
and
then
just
you
like
place
so
the
much
dumbbells
experience.
down at a 45-degree
Yeah.
angle. That will give you the like the optimal position to then pick them up when you come back after
Yeah,
the
like it's just simple stuff like that that
yeah.
like truly at the end of the day makes workout flawless, which then creates good execution, which then creates good performance. So it's just like stuff like that I think is huge for me and just gaining experience on the floor.
Do you feel though I mean, if I was you,
Hmm.
I would be like, you can learn that
Yeah.
because as you said, that just needs experience. Like,
Hmm.
so you're like, okay, basically every competition you go to,
Yeah.
you're gaining experience. And even
Yeah.
if sometimes you learn them in like a painful way,
Yeah.
you're like lesson learn, right? Now
Yes,
I know that.
exactly. I'm gonna quickly shut my door because the my dogs are gonna start barking quickly.
They're on a timer.
Okay, we're
They're on a
back.
timer and they know, oh, 53 minutes, I have to stop barking. It's a good excuse to end. But what I was saying is like that,
Yeah.
you will learn all of those things. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you've been going to a lot of competitions, you've learned all of those things, but you are not like your fitness is not plateauing, but it's kind of like everyone is getting fitter, and you're just like, I'm just not getting like I'm not overtaking people. I'm staying
Yeah.
as I am. Kind of, I think for you being like, hey, I would have punched my ticket to the games if I hadn't made some mistakes
Yeah.
that I've learnt from.
Yeah.
That talks of a degree of fitness
Yeah.
that is hard to get, right?
Yeah.
It's easier to learn where to place your dumbbells, how to
All
like
those things.
know
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
to take a break, when to do the,
I see what you
like
mean. Yeah.
simple things like that. Like, I feel like that's easier than being like, and now I need to learn how to be really, really fit. Like that
Yeah. I know
that
what you
takes
mean.
so much time and the problem is while you're investing that time to get really fit,
Yeah.
so is everyone else who's already fitter than you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem. So I think it's an obviously for you at the moment, it's like the worst thing.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's probably a better problem to be having than an athlete who is trying to punch their ticket and they have, they come with spreadsheets to the workouts
Yeah.
because
Like
they've
they
got
literally,
everything planned out to a T,
yeah.
and yet they just do not have the fitness to execute
Yeah.
what
I
they
think
need to
that's what
qualify.
I'm kind of excited for this next season is more just to have, whoever this coach is, to have that programmer and coach as one. I think that's huge. So the person that's been programming for you the whole year and you've been giving feedback to, and hey, I'm feeling like this week, and hey, I'm really struggling mentally with these dumbbells this week, that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think having that person in the back at competition, I think will be huge for me. Cause like for me, trust and like communication is like one of my top things when it comes to a coach. So I think building that relationship is so crucial, and I think will help me a lot in competition as well. But
Yeah.
I do find, like you said, I thrive. I do very well in online competition because I can control my environment. I'm familiar with it, and I can kind of go as hard as I can physically go without needing those people there. I can kind of just get myself there. So I've always done well in online competition because I can control the things I can control and also put in my like full effort, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it does, and I think that having that coach who can say to you like, or who you can say to kind of, all right, we practiced this workout 10 times like
Yeah.
leading up to this, and it was always fine, but I don't know, today after the previous two workouts,
Yeah.
I'm feeling this, and they'll be like, well, you remember 5 weeks ago we did a thing, and you're feeling similar, and we changed the rep scheme, we broke it up this way.
Yeah.
Do you think that will work for you? Oh, actually, yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a pretty similar stimulus that might work. And they've just got all this insight from
Yes. I think
following you
that's
over the year.
huge.
Like that's why people have coaches. That's why
A
they
hundred
pay for
percent.
coaches, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I realize, we've been talking for a while. Let's move on to this. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, which
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be a big topic, but we've talked about your Instagram and
Mm-hmm.
how you post what you would post anyway. I feel like your posts are quite vulnerable, I
Yeah.
guess, maybe for like lack of a better word, that you really put out how you're feeling, particularly when things aren't going well, but also
Yeah.
when things are going well.
Yeah.
Um, I'm guessing that's important to you to do that.
Yeah.
Sort of what is the yeah, I guess what is behind kind of your thought process then on what you're posting, and then and why you want to open up about these things and talk about it, and yeah, I'm just curious because there's quite interesting stuff that you've put
Yeah.
out and commented on.
Yeah. I think it's honestly more so I think it's more just stuff that I wish that I saw on social media when I was younger. I guess that's kind of
Right.
how I view it. So like when I started doing this whole thing with like going to my old high school and like talking to females, like to female athletes, and like they started a barbell club. So I went there to like talk to them about like getting into the barbell club and like how I think it's so crucial to learn how to like move functionally, like move with purpose and like all these kind of things. And I think it's more just like doing the things that I wish I had or knew in high school. I'm trying to create that on my Instagram in a way, like showing days that go awful, but then also days where you're hitting PRs. I think there's a huge thing of like hiding your PRs as like a strategy, which I understand in certain extent of like not always showing your best days and like kind of holding a competitive edge. I do get that aspect of things as well. But I think the more vulnerable you are on Instagram kind of shows the more real of a person you are. And I think social media is very much just showing the good sides of everything, which I still find. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I will only post this if I look, so amazing, or like, oh my God, I'm in my pajamas. There's no way. But then at the end of the day, like everyone wears pajamas. Like it's relatable and that's what
Yeah.
people want. And I have this other, which Lucille's been bugging me about. I have this other small, like very private account with like a very few of my friends.
Right.
And I would always post the weirdest stuff on there because I do love posting on my stories and like talking to the
Okay.
camera. I love doing that kind of thing. And she's like, you need to bring that to your CrossFit account. And at
All
the
right, because
beginning,
I was like, if she doesn't tell us what Lucille's been bugging her about, I've
yeah,
got to cry. Because like, I'm like, what is Lucille saying? Like, you got to shut this down in case somebody finds it, or
yeah,
is she saying, no, you need to be doing
no.
this?
She's like,
Yeah.
you have to bring this to your CrossFit account. Like people would love this because it's relatable. So, and it's just like very raw. And that's kind of, like I said, I'm an open book and I like sharing experiences through my social media. So I guess it's kind of just like doing the things that I wish I saw or knew of when I was younger and
Yeah.
like sharing information and knowledge that I thought would be helpful at the time when I was younger. So,
Now, when somebody reaches out to you, or they
mhm.
in like either in a comment or they DM you, and they say, "Oh, like this is what I wish I'd seen on social media when I was younger,"
Yeah,
or "Oh, I'm so glad that you're doing this because I find
yeah,
most people are like how do you do you know what I mean when they kind of hit the nail on the head of like your goal and they
yeah,
reach out to you and so like, oh, do you know what I appreciate about your stuff, and they
yeah,
exactly hit what your goal is, like how do you
yeah.
feel when that kind of feedback comes?
I was super like I got a few DMs after the one thing about um being proud of like your body, especially for younger athletes, and I got a few messages about that one, and it like I was super happy because I'm my goal is to use my platform to like share information like that, and the fact that like, even though I don't have 100,000 followers, like it's still getting to people and inspiring people. I thought that was huge.
Yeah.
And like I had a few people reach out to me after Waterpalooza, and like even though my performance wasn't amazing or like outstanding by any means compared to like how I did at semis in certain events, people were still reaching out saying like, you still inspire me to get into the gym, and I appreciate your posts and I appreciate like the things that you share, and how vulnerable you are. It just kind of validates what I'm doing, and like it's just like, okay, like someone out there is seeing this and appreciating it. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that when I
Yeah.
see those things.
Yeah, and I think it like circles all the way back to what we were talking about at the beginning with like
Mm-hmm.
people that follow you, they will genuinely care, and
Yeah.
when you say something they will be actually listening. Like
Yeah.
I always think it's like the, who reads the caption kind of
Yeah.
thing is like, do your followers read the caption? Because
Yeah.
that's such an indication of like who your followers are or why they're following you. It's
100%.
like, do they care? There used to be I don't know if it still kind of collates the same way, but it was always interesting. You would see people that had these massive Instagram followings, and like their YouTube would be like so minimal compared. It would be like a like 10%
Yeah.
the size, and it's like, why? Well, because they want to look at your pretty pictures, but
Yeah.
they don't want to hear what you've got to say,
Yeah.
and that's why they're not following your YouTube, but they're following your Instagram.
Yeah.
And you could see like there were so many examples where you could pull up, and not just, I'm not even saying within the CrossFit world, just in general, where you'd be
In
like,
general, for
this
sure.
person's got an insane following on Instagram, but clearly nobody really cares about what they've got to say, because when they're putting out videos that are like 5 minutes long on YouTube,
Yeah.
nobody's there.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's so much better, isn't it? That like, yeah, like I'm with you, even if it's like less people, but they're genuine people.
Yeah.
That's like the goal. And
Yeah.
I think when you're creating content that you're like, this is for me or
Yeah.
past me, and I would make, I want it to be out there anyway.
Yeah.
And if 5 people respond, great,
Yeah.
because it's there. If 100 people do, amazing. But
Yeah.
actually, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for those 5.
Yeah. And I think I think it is crazy, like, especially with this. I feel like the way Instagram is now, and it's very influencer oriented, of like influencing, and the amount of followers you have dictates the amount of sponsors you get, and like all that kind of thing. It puts a lot of pressure on the athletes to kind of put on a face in a way, or like, oh, I have to post today because this brand, and I think that's a whole other side of pressure that athletes have to experience, especially the bigger named ones, that like it shouldn't be a load, like it shouldn't be something that I think they should have to stress about as much, but at the end of the day, like they have to for their career, which I find is crazy, like, but that's kind of where we've gone to with social media. Like it's crazy how much it's changed, because I feel like 2018 games to like games athletes to like games athletes now, like it's very different, I feel like, on social media.
Yeah. And that's what, again, I feel like, you know, we've talked about kind of your sponsors and that they are people that you use, they
Yeah.
are products that you've used for many years, and now you, and then it's easy for you to talk about them on social media because you are using
Yeah.
them and you have them and you're in the shop and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't have to travel to a shop that I never go to make a post to
Yeah.
talk about a sponsor. It's like, well, and if you like something, and I think it works both ways, right? Because also for the sponsor, it's so much better. And
Yeah.
also, and like, I mean, I've had very few sponsors come my way in like in all the CrossFit stuff I've done, but anyone that has ever helped me, it's usually people that I've used their product or we've worked together, you know, multiple times. And if you mention them to me, oh, I will tell you wonderful things about them, like
Yeah.
no
It's the
matter what.
same with like, yeah, I have a physio clinic that I work with in my gym, and they're based out of my gym. And like they've helped me for 2 years, and
Yeah,
they've been helping me, and like I have no problem if a member talks to me about a pain. I'm like, you should go see Savannah. Like, she's helped me for 2 years. But it's not forced. It's just like they are genuine people that wanted to help me out, and they do an amazing job, and I want to help them out. So it's like I feel like it's so much better that way too, on both parties, when you
yeah.
actually like enjoy the product and want to talk about it.
Well, it's like, well, I mean, like Rising Tide helped me out a couple of times,
Yeah.
and like this year, I know they've already said they're giving all their profits this year to the academy program. There's like helping get CrossFit in schools in the UK.
Oh, cool.
So I know
Yeah.
nothing is coming my way
Yeah.
this year, but I will still tell you that they're wonderful. And like, you know, all the WOD Zombie cards and the like
Yeah.
different shirts and stuff like that, that's all come to me through them. And then they've helped, you know, but I mean, apart from that, they've actually helped me out to get to events and things like that. They've, you know, we've worked together on a number of things.
Nice. Yeah.
Wonderful,
Yeah. Yeah.
lovely, you know,
Yeah.
fantastic. If you're in the UK and you want to get merch from, you know, Hiller, Savan, or you
Yeah.
know, Get With The Programming, you know, these, and you don't want to pay an extortionate shipping fee,
Yeah.
Rising Tide, perfect, wonderful
Yeah.
people. Strivey, I mean, apart from that they're sponsoring this show now, which is fantastic, and
Yeah.
like their app is super smooth and all of that.
I use
We
their app. It's really good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got their app as like a an athlete side of it, but I was saying to them, well, I don't want to talk about it without like knowing kind of everything as well,
Yeah.
like the other side of it, because I don't use the other side of it because I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
And so I signed up for like the coaching one as well.
Yeah.
And somebody else, like obviously not the people I've spoken to, not the kind of just somebody who's worked there, they start emailing me and they're like, hey, do you need any help getting this up and running? Do you want to book in a call? We'll like sort you out so you can like, we've seen you've
Wow.
signed up. But
Yeah.
they don't know who I am, and that
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's because that's just what they're doing anyway. So I was
Yeah.
like, that's fantastic, because now I've got something really positive to say about this company
Yeah.
that is completely organic. They don't know anything about it. I've signed up for something that I don't actually do.
Yeah.
And they've reached out to be like, hey, oh, you
Do
know,
you need some help?
do you
Yeah.
need some help setting up your programming and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
that's huge.
I'm like, well, not really, because I don't have
No.
any programming. But
You're like, I'm not a coach, but thank you.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Can you just give me some programming?
Yeah.
That'll help. Yeah, wonderful. So I think it's good. And then I think if I ever see you talking about something, I kind of believe that you do,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
which I
That's the
think
goal.
has so much more value
Yeah.
than at the moment companies maybe realize. But anyway, that's
Yeah, it happens. But I do like, I do understand the external pressure from like I couldn't imagine the pressure that the bigger named athletes have to make posts and stuff. I think
yeah.
that's a whole other side of things that like I've never experienced, so I don't know that side, but like making posts for certain companies or having that much following, like that is a lot of eyes on you as well, you know?
Yeah, and you've got to be so. And I mean, I would. Okay. You know, when like you're really thinking, how do I say this with making sure I don't get someone in trouble? So, so I know an athlete that had like their by far their biggest sponsor was one brand,
Yeah.
and they had like another smaller sponsor that was helping them out, and that sponsor like had put up a post where they were using their product.
Okay.
But while using their product, this other product was like on show in the post as well. and they'd
Okay.
like used like they'd photoshopped out the logo so you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And then that sponsor like got in touch with the athlete to be like, this can never happen
Yeah.
again. Like you cannot have, and you know, they're like, oh, this little company that's sort of just been with me a while, and then this other one is by far my biggest sponsor is now angry because, and you're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
all
like
those
that's
kind of things where
you don't
actually
have
I heard
yeah.
a thing about again, like I was talking to somebody recently, and they'd got all these like entries to a marathon, to up to a half marathon,
Okay.
for this run club that they were running, and they'd like got these people in, and then somebody had come on board like to kind of help out as a sponsor, and they posted like oh, if you want to get this thing, you know, and then the marathon reached out and they're like, no, we use this other app, you can't use that, like if you're doing that we're going to revoke your
Oh,
entries and stuff like. So then they had to quickly delete this thing, and they're like, I can't have all
yeah.
these people that have like gone out to raise money, that have got
Yeah.
involved, suddenly lose their place because, and you're like, this is insane.
I
Like
know.
there's
It's
so
such a
much going on
fucking
behind
thing
the scenes
though.
that you don't see, and you think, what's
100%.
it got to do with being fit and healthy and
Yeah.
doing, you know, using sport for good and stuff like that? Oh. But anyway, all of
It,
that to say, we
yeah.
enjoy the vulnerable posts, the
Yeah.
real
Oh,
kind
that's
of stuff.
amazing. I'm
Although
glad to hear it.
although the thing of like hiding PBs and PRs and stuff like that, I think it was James Sprague we were talking to quite some time ago, because I was amazed at how accurate his CrossFit Games profile was
Yeah.
compared to other people's, where they don't, you know, they don't fill anything out.
I don't
And
even
like,
think I've ever filled out a profile, but
yeah,
that's more on like I
can't be bothered to do it.
should do that.
Well, I just went in and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then, you know, and he was sort of saying, his philosophy was, if you know how much I can snatch, that doesn't mean you can now snatch more than me. Like,
No.
just knowing it doesn't change anything.
No.
And you're like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's
I
true.
agree.
It's true. And like I feel like there's this like I don't know. I think it depends on the person when you like don't disclose what numbers you're hitting and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I'm hit or miss. I think sometimes I add it, sometimes I don't. But it's not, it's more just out of like, do people care? Do they want to know? I don't even know.
Well, I mean, if you're putting it in pounds, I don't even know what that means
Exactly.
nothing to me. I'm like, well done,
What is that in
I
kilos?
guess.
I don't know.
Yeah. So,
I'm so bad with pounds to kilo conversion too. That's not even,
yeah. I mean,
no way.
when they used pounds at Rogue in the UK, I was like, whoa, couldn't believe this. I was outraged.
And then didn't they mess something up?
Oh, probably.
The kilos. Someone used pounds. Was it an open event? It was the open event.
Oh, that was yeah, it was in France, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
It was the open announcement.
Yeah, it was. I just remember something like that, and I was like, "That's not good."
Yeah. Well, there you go. It was the first. It was the first week of the open announcement. I think it was 2 years ago, though.
Oh.
Yeah, because it wasn't when, because Castro did the first one, didn't he, with the mushroom?
Yeah.
That made no sense. It was the previous year, and it was the very first one, I think.
Yeah.
And they'd done it maybe
I
think it was in France, and
yeah.
and yes, because wasn't it? I feel like it was Laura Horvath was one of the athletes.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, look at us trying collectively to recall information from 2 years ago and really struggling. And they'll be like, I thought you guys followed CrossFit. We do, to a degree.
Yeah, I'm not good at following it, to be honest.
Wonderful. It was in Spain. Oh, look who's in the chat.
Lucille.
And you know that Lucille has joined the chat late because she hasn't commented any of the times we've talked about her.
Yeah,
but we'll mention that we've talked about her now to force her to go back and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, we were watching.
Yeah.
That's
and just so you know, Lucille, it wasn't just once. So if you find the first time we talk about you, you got to keep listening because your name came up again.
And it was Gabby and Laura.
It was Gabby and Laura in Spain.
Okay.
You see, we don't need to remember anything. That's what the chat's for.
Exactly. That's good. Yeah. But yeah, the open is coming up. It's in. Wow.
Jesus, it's the first minute.
Quietly observing.
Just.
The open is in. Wow. 2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah. Have you signed up already?
No.
No.
I also don't feel like I'm in shape for the open, if I'm going to be honest. Well, like, no, I can't even say that.
Yeah, but last time you didn't feel like you were in shape, you went to the games, so that's.
It's just because I've had a chaotic 2 weeks. So whenever things are chaotic in my life, I feel like I'm not prepared for anything. So
Yeah.
that always happens. So I think starting next week, I'll feel a little better.
So like the consistency graph I have for the box recently
Yeah.
has been, I've just like, because I traveled for we had Rogue, Fit Fest, and then I went to Budapest for the IF3 World Championships.
Okay.
And that just destroyed me. So end
Yeah.
of November, December, I was like, if I can just get into the new year, I'll be like, that'll be fantastic. And then I'll get, and then I started doing some stuff with like work and different things, and I've just had like different problems with stuff, and it's sort of, so I'll like go in on a Monday. So I think I went in last Monday, and then I went in today, and I didn't manage to get in between these, and I was just like, I keep missing massive chunks of training just before the open. Now, my open performance is never anything to write home about anyway, Erica, so don't worry about that too much for me. But it's not a great start. I haven't signed up yet. I've been called out already on the show, I think 2 weeks ago or last week, about the fact that I hadn't yet signed up.
I haven't signed up either.
But to be honest, I don't think I ever sign up until the week of, like.
I think that's a lot of
before,
people. I think a lot of people do that. At
but
least I do.
I went today, and also because I haven't been at the box, but I haven't been constantly getting the reminders. And then today they said, "Oh, email's been out with the teams that we form within the box for our kind of own thing." And I was like, "Well, I didn't get an email, so where's my email?" So I don't know whose team I'm on. So I mean, I have to sign up, because I said I do the podcast for the box, so then I will have to talk about it afterwards as well. So then it's like, oh, I've got to be signed up. I sign up every year, guys. Don't worry about it. I'll do it, but I'll do it. But as always, I'll do it last minute.
Me too. I'm a last minute. Like when I feel like I'm finally in shape again, I'll be like, okay, deal, I'll sign up now.
Oh, I mean, if I'm waiting until I'm in shape, then let's maybe the 2027, 2028 Open, something like that.
25.1. Haley Adams. I saw it's Haley Adams, and who else?
Is it Roman, and is it which one? Hold on. Is it the one at Mayhem?
One open announcement, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that the one that happening at Mayhem though? Yes.
I think so.
Isn't it Krennikov?
Yes.
Haley and
another guy.
Hatfield. There we are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that will be cool.
Again, we got there by the help of the chat.
That's good. Like,
Erica, do you wish you had the chat
at
all times in real life? Right? Like, okay, final question for you. No, second to final question. Did Erica ever get a new phone?
I did. I got a new phone. It's right here. Don't worry. It is the newest phone, so I can take quality videos, because my old phone was very bad at taking videos. So if you've seen the quality go up on my Instagram, it's because I have a new phone.
Wonderful.
But I want to get this new camera. Well, I don't have a camera, but I think it would be really cool to get a camera. Well, it's not really a camera. It's called the DJI Osmo
Pocket 3.
Yes, it looks
that.
cool.
It's that. It's the one I'm looking at right now. It's what I'm recording on at this time. Yeah.
You have it?
Yeah.
With a little tiny screen thing?
Yep. Which I can literally see myself on above right now.
It's so cute. Hiller brought it when he came to film, and I wanted it so bad. Yeah. Because it's so cute.
I had it so if you see on my Instagram, all the videos I shot at Rogue, all the little interviews there, all done on that.
Yeah, this one?
Yes.
It's so cute. I want it so badly.
Okay. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's got sponsor opportunity. Yeah. Okay. I'll even tell you something about it that I really like. This is the kind of thing. So I've used a few different systems at different events and things like that. The problem is CrossFit events and days are very long.
Yeah.
And you burn through battery. So quite often you will find me walking around with like a power bank plugged into whatever I'm using. I'm trying to charge batteries because they've all run out. This, if you get the one with there's a battery kind of pack handle that you can clip on. Oh.
Yeah, and has a mic too, right? I think that's the one that Hiller had.
So that is a little battery pack.
Yes.
That will plug into the bottom.
And then it had a mic attached to it. Yeah. See,
I've
that's
got two mics as well. Actually, I
yeah.
have, so that I can.
You can
But
interview
what
people.
I
Yeah.
love about this, and it's such a stupid little thing, but when you plug this into the thing,
Yeah.
it discharges the battery, but charges the camera. So then
Oh.
when this is dead, the camera is fully charged. And then you can
Oh.
charge that on its own
Wow.
somewhere else
Wow.
while you're
You're
using the camera's battery.
so you
And
never
then
run
once
out.
that's charged, you can just plug it back in and do the
Genius.
same thing again. And
It's
it just
genius.
keeps you going for event. Oh, it's fantastic. Yes, it is. I've bought different bits of kit over the years for like events and stuff, and I've always been a bit kind of I don't know about this. I don't know about this one.
That's so funny.
And then I realized, oh, I can just plug it in as a webcam,
Yeah.
and I do all these shows with it.
That's amazing. That is
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. I it was a camera that I'm like it's real it's cute. I think it looks really cute. So that's
and
why
it's light as well
it's
because I
light.
tell you what, over the course of a day, things get heavy. It
Yeah.
can track you. You know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
got
what I liked about it. Of like it's like, like it moves with you, which I think is cool. But
yeah,
again, that's for my like crazy when I want to like film random other things. But
A-
a phone works well.
and it the app will sync with your phone. So if you do record some videos, you can just rip it straight off the camera onto your phone over like
Yeah, like
the
that's
Wi-Fi,
amazing.
and then you can just post it up to Instagram like straight away.
Yeah, like that's amazing.
So there
Crazy.
you go. As
But
Corey said earlier, we cover all topics.
yeah,
Right, this
cameras.
is the final question. I didn't know we were going to talk about cameras,
That's
so
okay.
this is
I'm a talker, so yeah.
this is the final question. Um, what are you doing this season? Obviously, you haven't signed up for the Open yet, but
Yep.
that is on the cards. So I
Yep.
assume you're
I'm kind of keeping all options open at this point. So the Open, WFP, I don't really okay.
here we go.
I'll try and keep this short, but I don't really know how WFP works in the perfect world, to be honest. I I know of it and I think it's very intriguing. I just don't know. I haven't taken the time to dive into it like I know the Open because I've been doing it for 10 years. So like I understand how it works, but I feel like the WFP is new. And I think that's it with many people. So yeah, the Open, and then I think there's the WFP qualifiers. And then after that, I'm going to kind of go with either or, depending on what happens. So I'm kind of like an open book, really. This season is really just for me building a good relationship with my coach, getting, some good competing under my belt and kind of going from there.
Good, wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'm hoping that we'll see you in some of the off-season competitions. I mean, selfishly as
Yes.
always, I'm like, hopefully she'll be at Rogue. That would be
Yeah.
wonderful because
When he,
I'm
yeah, when is Rogue?
November.
Okay.
November, yeah. It's always yeah. I think it's November, so that would be good. Lucille, get her to Fit Fest. That would be the other one. Come to Fit Fest. That
Oh
was
yeah.
great.
That's in December, correct?
December,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
self
I'm
just
gonna
because then I
try.
don't have to travel. That's
I need
basically what I'm saying. Is come
I need
somewhere where I'm close.
yeah, I need to do more like off-season comps. Obviously, you don't want to do too many that you're like dying. So I think I'm going to aim for two main off-season comps. I have a call on Friday, so with my coach, so we'll kind of plan things accordingly. But I feel like two off-season comps is like a normal
Yeah.
amount.
I,
Not
I
too
mean,
many.
you're looking at someone that does 0 off-season comps and 0 in-season
I
comps.
know that's a funny
So
thing.
my opinion
I
on
looked I looked at anyone. I'm like, that's right, right?
yeah. And then you see like Colton doing like every comp he can get his hands on
Yeah,
and
he's
smashing all
like,
of them, and then you've got somebody else.
if Canada had more comps, I would do those ones for sure because it's not much traveling for me, but we don't have many.
Okay, awesome, excellent.
Yeah,
All right, well, I'm hoping that I will see you sometime this year. That would be fantastic.
that's the
Either
goal.
because somebody has said, Jason, we're going to fly you to the games, and Eric has qualified for the games. I'm like, great, perfect.
Perfect.
Or more likely, not that
Yeah,
you not qualifying than me flying
yeah,
there. Likely, I'll see you somehow in the UK, whether that be Scotland or Birmingham or something over here, and
yeah,
that will be
yeah.
nice. It's always fascinating when I get to finally meet people in person.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, we've talked on virtual, but not in
Yeah.
person. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like we know each other, but we don't. But it's
But we
like
do.
we do. Wonderful. Well, all the best with everything you've got going on. It's going to be an interesting season.
Thank you.
The World Fitness Project thing, you are not the only person. Multiple of my guests I've asked what have they got planned for this season. I've said I need to look into World Fitness Project to really understand how
Yeah.
it works. So World Fitness Project, I will happily put together stuff to say how it works. I've done that on other things
Yeah.
before and make a video. So let's have a conversation and see if we can get
Please.
that happening.
I would like that. That would be great.
See, Erica, that's at least one person who's going to watch it. Brilliant.
Yeah,
There we go.
exactly. You got a viewer right here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone in the chat. You've been super helpful for filling in the
Yeah.
blanks that
Thank you for
Erica and I
helping us.
didn't know. We appreciate that. Go follow Erica if you're
Yeah,
not already
that would be
on
amazing.
Instagram. That would be useful. Follow me if you like. Follow Strivey if you want to help me out that way. That would all be nice. And maybe next week I have a guest. I'm not 100% sure yet who that is. So keep an
Okay.
eye on social media for next week. I do know the following week, just before the Open kicks off, we will have Lucy Campbell. She's
Oh,
back and killing it, of course. So
yeah, she's crushing.
we've got to get her on the show. So come back for that. But maybe there'll be another guest in between now and then. So thank you again, Erica, and
Thank
hopefully
you. It was
we'll
wonderful chatting.